Hi, I'm Rick Dior, and I wanted to share some really cool drums with you today. Recently, I acquired these Gretsch Catilina Elite drums. These are old. The guy I bought them from told me they were from the 1990s. I looked them up, but I couldn't find much information, namely because the bass drum is a 16-inch drum. Most of these kits, when they first were released, had an 18-inch bass drum, so I didn't find much info on them. But I used them on a gig. After I bought them, I paid a couple $100 for them, and they just sounded great. I was really surprised. And I've had other kits with 16-inch bass drums, namely the Sonar Safari kit, as well as the Yamaha Hip Gig kit, both of which I really like. But these drums sound a lot better than those. They really do. So I was surprised because they're so cheap. And they weren't in great shape when I bought them. And I took them apart and I cleaned the hell out of them. And these shells are this Philippine Mahogany, so it's very cheap wood. Really nothing special at all, but for some reason the drums sound great. And they're quiet drums too. The gig I used them on was a piano trio gig. And it was kind of background music. You know, I've just started gigging again a lot after the pandemic year. So things are starting to move again and come back. And so I took these drums on the gig and I was incredibly pleased with them. I also picked up some cymbals too, and some pretty rare cymbals. This is a Sound Creation Dark Flat Ride, a 16-inch. I've never seen another one of these, and I've been a Paiste endorser for almost 30 years. So this must have been a special order. I also picked up this 16-inch Paiste medium flat ride, which I really, really like, and I have another one like it. This is kind of like the cymbal that Roy Haynes used on the Now He Sings, Now He Sobs record. So this is an 18, if I didn't say that already. And this cymbal is a remix. It's called a breakbeat ride. It's an 18-inch ride, and it's a Zildjian. Not sure if they make these anymore. As well as the hi-hats are also remixed. These are 12-inch hi-hats. And these sound great too. And the good thing about these drums is you can't really play them very loud. You saw there I was really laying into them. And they're just not loud. They're quiet. They're almost like muted. So the snare drum is this little tiny 12-inch drum. Not great, obviously, for brushes. But it sounds really, really good. As a regular drum, you know, regular snare drum. The cool thing about a flat ride is if you crash it, no matter what you do, it's never going to be loud. So you can take these two cymbals on a gig and really crash them, and they don't get loud. They're just quiet cymbals. And then this ride is pretty quiet itself. It will crash, though. It does have a lot of definition. And then I'll play these hi-hats for you. Now I know they're pretty quiet, and again I'm playing loud right now, but when I compare them on my computer monitor, the waveform, with the Centennial drums, which I pretty much play every day for hours, it's about half the size as far as loudness goes. So it's got a lot to do with the shells as far as the drums go. Cheap shells, thin, again, Philippine Mahogany. And the cymbals, they're just not loud cymbals at all, for whatever reason. So this kind of combination, for those of you who have asked me, and many of you have actually, about soft drums, softer sounding drums. Just this morning, someone asked me about a quiet snare drum, if they thought they should use a Radio King or Elite or something like that. And I just replied, just get something that's mahogany. Now, another mahogany drum is this old, I'm not sure when this is from, but I think it's from the 40s. This is an old Ludwig. I don't think it's a downbeat drum. This is pre-downbeat because it's mahogany on the inside. And these are probably expensive, unfortunately, but it's a really good sounding drum. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it up here instead of this one so you can hear it. But I got that drum for free, and I'm going to post a video on it. I made one a while back. I just forgot I made it. So I went ahead and made this video, and I forgot about it. And I'm going to put this up soon. I take the drum apart, and I clean it. Someone gave this to me. And it's tuned very low right now because I just put calf heads on it. But it's an extremely quiet drum. So you have to work hard to play it loud. And the calf heads have a lot to do with that mushiness that you're hearing. It's a little bit humid here today. We're going to crank it up. So anything like this kind of piccolo, which is, I believe this is a 4-inch or maybe 3.5. I talk about it on the video. I actually measure it. So once I post that, we'll know for sure. So the sound of this really goes against the size of it. It's extremely low, especially with calf heads, top and bottom, but very, very quiet. You can't really play it loud. That's as loud as it goes. And once these heads settle, it will go up higher, obviously. So that's a WFL. And like I said, I'll post that video. You'll be able to see it. And I also play some on the other drums with it. All right, so let's put this back up. Here's what this snare looks like. There's really nothing to it. It's so light. It's like a toy almost. Now, the bad thing about a 12-inch drum, even though it's small, it's not good for brushes. So I'll show you. Now this has a fiber skin head on there. I should change it. It's a little bit worn, but those don't wear out too much, ever, pretty much. But they don't sound like this. I did put new heads on this, on both these toms. These are coated ambassadors. So yeah, just a great deal if you could find one of these old kits. I do like the 16-inch bass drum a lot, and actually you could play some backbeat music with it. Yeah, I really like these drums. I was going to sell them, but I'm going to keep them because I just think they feel great and they're going to work well. I think they'll fit in my little car that I drive sometimes, and get a couple cases and not worried about bagging them up because it's a couple $100s. So I'm sure these are out there. I see them online. Maybe not this particular kit with the 16-inch bass drum. Sometimes just playing on a different set of drums really inspires you, you know, just changing the setup, the sound of the drums, the cymbals. This is kind of a weird cymbal setup. So that's something that all of you should try, and that's why it's good to own a bunch of different kits. So I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe it'll give you some ideas for kits for playing softly, which is nice because a lot of times if you have bigger drums and you go on a quiet gig, you got to really hold back. I don't feel like I have to hold back on these because they just don't make a lot of sound. So it's probably about, you know, a third of the volume of a regular jazz kit. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.